Dexter, New Blood has many issues for Harrison Morgan, Jack Alcott, but Dexter, Resurrection has already resolved the most significant one. Harrison swiftly rose to prominence as one of the Dexter series' most crucial characters. It is evident that Harrison is now Dexter's emotional tether because he shot Dexter, Michael C. Hall, at the end of New Blood, and Dexter's want to get back in touch with him is the primary motivation behind Resurrection. But it wasn't always the case. Harrison was at one point one of the main grievances Dexter fans had with the sequel season, but New Blood as a whole was controversial. However, this Harrison is very different from the one we encounter in Resurrection Episode 4. Harrison comes across as quite unlikable and polarizing when we first met him as a young adult in Dexter, New Blood. Harrison's only option from the start of New Blood seems to be to guilt-trip Dexter for leaving him and Hannah McKay. It's certainly a valid cause to be upset with Dexter, but it was essentially Harrison's sole quality. Harrison was essentially only present in New Blood as a reflection of Dexter, aside from his violent inclinations. His resentment at being left behind served as another means of instilling guilt in Dexter, while his dark passenger served to provide him with a moral conundrum regarding whether or not to give him the code. Beyond strengthening the bond between Dexter and Angela, even his friendship with Audrey lacked depth. However, Resurrection has fundamentally altered that. Harrison has already established himself as a distinct character in just 4 episodes, with a life apart from Dexter's, as well as his own objectives and driving forces. While believing Dexter was dead, he kills Ryan to defend an innocent woman, gets visions of Ryan that are a representation of his own guilt, and develops a developing relationship with Elsa. Additionally, Harrison's likability in Resurrection is far higher than it was in New Blood. He isn't always griping about being left behind or lecturing Dexter about his killings. Rather, he's establishing himself as a charming young man with a thriving social life, enough slyness to dispose of a body and provide the NYPD a false alibi, and more. You can genuinely feel sympathy for Harrison in Resurrection. In Dexter, Resurrection, will Harrison carry on murdering? Harrison is probably not going to become a serial killer because he obviously doesn't enjoy killing as much as Dexter does. Harrison in Dexter, Resurrection, mutilating a corpse. One of the most intriguing plotlines in Dexter, Resurrection is also one of the main reasons Harrison is so much more compelling and likable. Harrison merely injured Ethan in New Blood, but he formally killed his first victim with Ryan in Resurrection. Will Harrison follow in his father's footsteps and commit serial killings? In a nutshell, Harrison is unlikely to turn into a serial killer. Harrison's increasing sorrow and regret over killing Ryan, which he did only to protect Shauna and himself, has been extensively portrayed in Resurrection. Dexter have a dark passenger that Harrison does not. He doesn't like to kill, and unless he is forced to, he is unlikely to do it again. However, Harrison continues to play a significant role in Dexter's life and his serial killings despite this. As we now know, Harrison approved of and liked the code of Harry. Only after Dexter killed the defenseless Sergeant Logan did he turn against him. In Dexter, Resurrection, Harry may easily take over the role of Dexter's light passenger and become a new Harry figure.